Hi everyone, this is Dave with Learning Media Arabic, and today we have a reading passage taken from an Egyptian newspaper, and it's an editorial written by a female writer, and it's titled The Price of Freedom. And it's talking about the Egyptian revolution in general. So it's a revolution, and the intent was not to be a chaos or chaotic. It's a revolution because it was logical for a country who had reached a great degree of civilization with the passage of its history, throughout the course of its history, to not be satisfied with deteriorating, with the situation deteriorating, and to become just a nation of randomness and poor planning and personal interest. But what happens with political competitions and social one-upsmanship is taking us far away to a realm of chaos. And it's a realm that has its own special law and an extremely high bill or price. As you can see, it was rather difficult for me to translate directly into English and still create something that's comprehensible in English. And that's because the higher you go in level, and the more opinion and the more feeling that goes into writing in any language, but especially in Arabic, the writing gets denser and it becomes harder to translate from language to language, at least on the fly. Or literally. So it's hard to go word for word. So some places where I had to change a little bit that I remember is muzayidat. It generally means like auctions or outbidding or kind of exaggeration. And the way I took it in the context of this story is, or of this piece, is one-upsmanship, in the sense that it's put right after political competitions. And with the context of Egypt being as it is, that's just what I've come up with. It could very well be incorrect, but it seems to fit. And the general tone is a bit of a kind of a cry for unity and solidarity and whatnot, and it seems like it's rather pessimistic of a view at this point. Now, this is the very first part of the piece, so it could be changing, but as of right now, I'm seeing a rather pessimistic view of what's happening in Egypt right now, as if there was a promise for a revolution, and it was never meant to be chaos. And I think, despite seeing how this is a yeah, and there's a couple other places where there's a yeah, right here, and right here again, and right here as well. And I believe that the editorial, I should say the editing in countries is different. And whereas, from what I understand, the Arabic language for a word like ala does not include these nukat, these dots, or nuqtatain, but you'll see in journalism that these are kind of thrown in or taken out at random. There might be a logic to it, but I've not figured it out yet. But I bring that up because when you start off this line, you have hiya thawra wa lam yakun al maqsud an takun fawda, and you have a bit of a rhyme there. So it's this kind of writing which is meant to instill or bring about emotion. You have a bit of a poetic stance. A few things here. The deterioration of the situation, I mean, that's a very clunky way of saying it. I was trying to be as literal as possible. Notice su at-takhtit, it's an idafa, and it's for whenever you're saying something that's poor or bad, and you want to put it in and use the verbal noun or a noun after, you can use this construction. Or if you read it, you can at least understand it, right? This literally means bill, like a check you get at the at a restaurant. So, and this means exorbitant or extremely expensive. Bahida. So it's an expensive bill, and I use the word realm here to try to elevate the language. Usually I translate that as a region, but we're not talking about physical regions, so I use the word realm. In any case, these are obviously the more challenging types of text in Media Arabic, simply because a lot of times they're drawn upon the entire culture, and you're using references and feelings of a national culture which don't translate as easily as international news. So again, it's challenging, but it's very interesting. I just remembered one more thing. Mujarrid is kind of like, it's a very useful word to know. When I translate it as just, and a lot of times you can translate it as just. It's like a mere. We don't want to become just a mere country of randomness, so it's useful in these, and it's very common in editorials and whatnot. So it's a little longer than normal, but I hope you've learned a little bit and maybe want to challenge yourself to read these types of articles if you don't already. And if you have any comments or anything, go ahead and leave them. And I hope you have a good day. Take care.